Better to live alone among the foolish? Certainly not. But true companionship is not merely about presence, it is about purity. Companionship? Let one walk alone, committing no sin, with few wishes, like an elephant in the forest. The Dhammapada. As the years pass, silence deepens. The laughter that once lit up the evenings grows faint. Doors once wide open now quietly close. And then comes a moment when solitude no longer waits at the doorstep. It enters, sits beside you, and makes itself at home. To grow old alone. These words often echo with fear, as though loneliness is a curse and companionship the only cure. But the Zen path does not see in such stark contrasts. For the one who walks the way understands, solitude is not exile, it is unveiling, not a punishment but a profound presence. It is in this quiet space that the deepest truths reveal themselves, and in that stillness one may finally meet the self fully for the very first time. This teaching is not a lament for loneliness. It is an awakening, a mirror held to the mind, showing the truth about what it means to grow older with no one sitting beside you, and how such a fate, feared by many, may carry the greatest gift of all, freedom, insight, and the final peace. Let the tale begin, and with it, the unfolding of inner wisdom. The early noise, where people gather, the soul scatters. In the beginning, life surrounds itself with noise, laughter, responsibilities, desires, names, attachments. From youth to middle age, the focus remains outward. The crowd is everything: friendships, romantic bonds, family connections. One grows by what is reflected back from others. Praise strengthens the ego. Criticism bends the heart. The need to belong becomes an unspoken religion. But this noise hides something crucial: the growing distance from one's true nature. Attachment breeds distraction. The more one chases affection, the more elusive peace becomes. Many spend decades building webs of connection, yet they fail to realize none of it is permanent. As time thins, so do relationships. People drift, pass away, change, or grow distant, not because of enmity, but because impermanence governs all. In the heart of Zen, this is no tragedy. It is nature. Like leaves blown from a tree, each person must someday fall alone, not in shame, but in truth. The separation. When everything begins to leave. The moment arrives when the world, so loud once, begins to turn away. Work ends, children grow, friends become memories. The face in the mirror no longer seeks to impress, but to understand. Many fear this moment. For some, it feels like being abandoned. For others, it feels like being punished. But from a Zen perspective, it is the first taste of the real. The real is not crowded, the real is quiet. Only when all distractions fall away can the self be known without masks. Solitude becomes the ultimate mirror. It reveals how much inner space was once filled with outer noise. The question is not, why am I alone now? The real inquiry is, what was I hiding from by being surrounded? Buddhist teachings call this moment the ripening of karma. All that was clung to begins to rot. All that was feared becomes present. The ego trembles, but the spirit rises. The mirror of solitude. Seeing the self for the first time. Aloneness is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is a craving for what is absent. Aloneness is a presence with what is. When life slows down, silence becomes the only companion. In that silence, something incredible happens. Awareness blooms. One sees clearly the regrets, the attachments, the wasted efforts, but also the lessons. Many never examine their lives until silence forces them to. In Zen, this is the beginning of Kensho, the seeing into one's nature. This stage of life reveals the truth. Nothing belongs to you, not your body, not your relationships, not even your memories. The only thing left is your awareness. That is the real you, and that finally is enough. To end up alone is to arrive at the gate of liberation. What is liberation? Freedom from the illusion of permanence. Freedom from needing others to validate your worth. This is the liberation what the alone understand that the crowded never see. The alone walk. Slowly alone, one is not distracted by others' needs. One sees the world without filters. The cherry blossoms fall and no one is there to say, "Look how beautiful." Yet beauty remains. The alone walk slowly. They feel the wind more deeply. Food becomes prayer. Sleep becomes surrender. Life becomes meditation. No longer obsessed with being heard, they begin to listen. No longer needing to be seen, they begin to observe. This is the secret no one tells. Those who walk alone in age become more conscious than the young who live surrounded. In Buddhism, this is called the flowering of prajna, wisdom. It does not bloom in youth or in crowds. It arises like the lotus from the mud, in stillness, in time, in silence. The ones who grow old alone are not cursed. They are chosen by reality to see it clearly. The healing. Making peace with all that was with age comes the light of reflection. Aloneness becomes the perfect climate for healing. Unresolved anger arises like smoke and fades. Past pains, once buried, visit again, not to hurt, but to be forgiven. No one is left to blame. No one is left to impress. One begins to understand everyone was doing their best with what they knew, including oneself. The past becomes a teaching, not a wound. In Buddhist insight, this is the dissolution of dukkha, suffering rooted in resistance. When aloneness is no longer fought, it becomes comfort, like a warm robe worn on cold mornings. The inner self, once buried under identities and relationships, sits at peace. Forgiveness comes not from being told to forgive, but from understanding. Alone, one begins to understand. And so, healing becomes real. The transcendence, when silence becomes music. In the final stage of solitude, something holy arises. The fear of being alone is replaced with reverence for it. A day may pass with no one speaking to you. A week may pass with no visitor, yet the heart is full. The spirit does not cry out, it hums. This is what monks pursue in the mountains. This is what seekers travel to find in remote temples. Yet it is found naturally by the one who accepts aging, aloneness, and impermanence. The Zen master bows to the one who lives in silence with a full heart. Why? Because such a person has transcended the fear of loss, the addiction to approval, the illusion of self. They have become empty. In Zen, emptiness is not despair. It is freedom from form. It is spaciousness. It is boundless peace. The truly alone are not empty in sadness. They are empty in freedom. The completion, returning to the source. Without regret, when death draws close, the alone do not panic. They have died many small deaths already. The death of ego, the death of attachment, the death of desire. They do not scream for company. They do not fear the void, for the void became a friend long ago. In Buddhist thought, such a death is known as anupadisesa nibbana, final liberation, no rebirth, no return, just release. The one who ends up alone and welcomes it dies whole. The life was not wasted because it ended in silence. It was perfected by it, the silence that teaches all, to end up alone. As you age is not failure, it is a calling to return to yourself, a calling to release everything false, a calling to enter the sacred silence that births enlightenment. Do not fear the quiet path. It is the oldest path. It is the path of sages, monks, mystics, and it is the path waiting for those who have the courage to meet themselves. The truth is simple. Those who accept being alone in old age do not grow empty. They become complete. Let the world misunderstand. Let the masses fear solitude. The awakened bow to silence, for within it lies the final truth. And the truth says, you were never truly alone. You were only meeting the one you always were. The deep reflection of the teachings. To reflect deeply on the truth of ending up alone as one ages is to journey inward, past the noise of society's judgment, beyond the illusions created by youth, and into the untouched garden of self-realization. This reflection is not just a commentary on aging, but a mirror that reveals what life was always pointing toward: stillness, awareness, and freedom. Let the following reflections flow like the gentle ripples in a still lake, each carrying insight from the teaching. 1. What society fears the sage. Welcomes the world teaches that companionship is the goal, that to be surrounded is to be validated. But the awakened path reverses this illusion. Companionship may bring joy, but dependence on it leads to suffering. To fear being alone is to fear meeting one's true self. From birth, one walks toward aloneness, first in thoughts, then in dreams, and finally in form. Relationships come and go, but the silent witness inside never leaves. The sage does not resist this. They bow to it. True strength is not shown in the crowd, it is shown in the one who can sit alone and feel no lack. 2. Solitude is not empty, it is full of answers. In Zen, silence is the greatest master. No words, no books, no crowds, only silence. Within it lies truth. When one grows old and ends up alone, this silence becomes louder than ever, and with it comes clarity. Questions that followed for decades. Why did this happen to me? What should I have done differently? Are finally answered not by others, but by one's own still awareness. Solitude sharpens perception. One begins to notice details once ignored: the sound of birds, the smell of morning rain, the wisdom hidden in a crack on the wall. These become teachers. The alone do not miss out on life, they begin to truly live it. The mind was never the enemy, only the untrained one. Was when one is young, the mind races, chasing goals, status, validation. But in solitude, especially in aging, the mind has no more distractions. It turns inward. This often frightens people because they are untrained in observing their thoughts. But in Zen practice, this is the sacred moment. The mind quiets only when it realizes it cannot run anymore. And then comes the stillness behind the mind, pure awareness. The person who ends up alone in age is given the rare chance to meet their mind and train it, not for ambition, but for equanimity. The noisy mind, when calmed, becomes a doorway to the infinite. 4. You lose the world, you gain the Dharma. The world takes back everything it once gave: beauty, youth, family, status, health. What remains? Dharma, the eternal law. The teachings that were always true, even when no one listened. In solitude, one studies Dharma not through scriptures, but through observation. The law of impermanence, the reality of non-attachment, the grace of letting go, these are not philosophical concepts, but lived truths. When alone, one no longer debates the teachings. One becomes the teaching, a body that ages, a house that empties, a mind that quiets. This is the Sutra of Solitude. Read with presence, it opens the door to liberation. 5. Alone does not mean forgotten, it means remembered by the universe. Many feel that ending up alone in old age means they have been forgotten by the world, but Zen reveals the opposite. The world may forget, but the universe remembers. It sends dreams, insights, intuition, and moments of divine synchronicity. Alone, the spirit becomes more receptive. One sees signs more clearly, hears whispers of wisdom through the wind. The connection with all that is becomes stronger than ever. The alone are not neglected. They are immersed in the universal consciousness without distraction. 6. The ego dies where the crowd ends. To be surrounded is often to be trapped in identity. A father, a friend, a partner, a worker. These identities fade with age. If one depends on them, their absence creates despair. But if one uses their fading to seek what lies beneath, they discover the eternal self. In aloneness, the ego has nothing to feed on. No one is watching, no one is judging. Slowly it starves, and beneath it, the vast sky of the original nature appears. Zen calls this Mushin, the no-mind state. It cannot be reached through busyness. Only solitude opens this gate. 7. Aging as enlightenment, not decay. Society may say that aging alone is sad. Zen says it is sacred. Buddhist philosophy says it is preparation, not for death, but for awakening. The soul has spent lifetimes entangled in others' karma, emotion, and clinging. When one ends up alone in their final years, it is not a curse, it is the universe clearing the stage so the last performance can be watched in silence. And in that silence, the spirit bows, thanks the body, releases attachments, and prepares to dissolve with grace. 8. The last companion, the self that never leaves. In all of life, the only true companion is awareness. People come and go, bodies change, emotions rise and fall, but awareness remains, watching, waiting, witnessing. In solitude, one stops searching outward, one turns to that quiet witness and realizes, this was always me. To end up alone is to finally see this, to smile, knowing nothing was ever lost. Only illusions faded, the breath continues, the heart beats, the presence remains. The alone person is not incomplete, they are whole, a silent bow to the path of one. Let us not weep for those who live their final days alone. Let us honor them, for they walk the sacred trail many fear. They know the secrets many never stop to hear. They embody the truth spoken by ancient sages. They do not cry for company. They sit under the moon, listen to the wind, smile at the stars, and return quietly to the source. Complete. And so to those walking alone as they age, do not think of yourself as abandoned. Think of yourself as invited to the highest teaching, the last temple, the deepest meditation. You are not alone. You are accompanied by the one presence that has never left you, your own radiant, enduring spirit. And that, in the end, is more than enough. Thank you for watching. I hope this message brought a moment of peace and clarity to your day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a new insight or reflection. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and let me know what you'd like to explore next. Until then, take care and keep walking your path with grace. See you in the next video.